So what are some strategies for overcoming resistance to change in the workplace? Well, stay tuned. And today we're going to both transform through change. Welcome back. So today we're going to be discussing some strategies to overcome the resistance to change in the workplace. Today I want to share with you 5 successful strategies that have not only worked for me, but they've also worked for my clients. Let's get into it. So today's first strategy for overcoming resistance to change in the workplace is, number 1, identify and engage the opposition. You know those people who every time they hear about changing your organization, they're going to stick their flag in the sand and they're saying, I am not changing. Well, guess what you need to do? You need to identify who those people are, and more importantly, you need to engage them. You need to get great understanding as to why they feel that way, because chances are they have some personal and professional experiences that tell them this is just another process coming down the pipe from management that's saying yada, yada, yada about change and how everything is going to be great. And guess what happened? It never was fulfilled. So some of those folks have been scarred when they hear the word change. So number 1 is identify who these people are. And more importantly, engage them to understand why do they feel that way? Because you know what? There is a reason why they feel that way. Number 2, constantly communicate your justification for the change that's coming. No one wants to be changing just for the sake of change. You need to make sure that you're communicating your justification. Now, guess what? I know sometimes as leaders in management, we get sick and tired of trying to tell people why the change is coming, right? Why we have to change. But guess what? It's important for people to know why, because it gives them a reason. It gives them a great purpose. So if you're not communicating the justification for the change, people are going to constantly resist. Number 3, it's important for you to ask engaging questions and then listen. Right? Ask engaging questions, then listen. For example, what is an engaging question? An engaging question would be, so would you all tell us how in the world is this change going to have an impact on how you do your job every single day? And then let's just listen. Because as management, you need to understand how is this change is going to have an impact on the whole system. But more importantly, listen to your people. They're the ones out there doing the tough work. They're the ones having all the calls coming in to them. And they're the ones that's going to have to explain to the people you serve, why are you all doing this now? And guess what? If they can't answer that question, they have not been engaged in the process. Number 4, make sure that you implement the change in stages. Right? There's a quote by one of my former coaches that said about change. Inch by inch, change is a cinch, but yard by yard, change is hard. So it's important for you to implement change in stages for people because they need to go a little slower in the process. Now, I do recognize that sometimes change does happen fast. But if you can control the change, make sure that you do it in stages to understand, to help people to go along with that process. And you don't want to force them, right? You want to bring them along. You want them to be an advocate for the change. And last but not least, change the change as needed. Now, what does that mean? Once you start the change process, if you see somewhere in the process that, you know what, we had planned to do this, but wow, we really need to do this based on what we've been doing, change the change as needed. Because you know what that's going to communicate to your team, to your people, to your organization? It's saying that, you know what, you're going to be flexible, you're going to be adaptable. You understand that we're not going to change for the sake of change and do the things that we said we're going to do because we have a vision to do it. But we all recognize that, you know what, we can consistently change some things that we're doing because change is still needed. So listen, these 5 strategies for overcoming resistance to change. Identify and engage opposition. Communicate and justify your change. Ask engaging questions and then listen. Implement changes in stages and change the change as needed. So I want to encourage you to take these 5 strategies and go and overcome the resistance to change in your workplace. This has been Dr. Samuel Jones, and I look forward to seeing you soon.